Today's lesson delves into the advanced urbanization, societal organization, and cultural achievements of an ancient civilization. China. This civilization was marked by organized urban planning, sophisticated infrastructure, and social stratification. Even though they evolved in unique geographic, climatic, and cultural contexts. Before we go on, please subscribe to our channel to explore the pivotal milestones in human evolution and the development of global societies. Gain scholarly insights into the history that shapes our world today. Do not forget, subscribe to the knowledge. The Lungshan culture, which flourished in northeastern China around 3000 BCE, represents a significant turning point in the development of early Chinese state formation. Known for its distinctive black pottery, advanced settlements, and signs of social stratification, Lung-shan culture laid crucial foundations that would shape the rise of complex societies in ancient China. One of the defining characteristics of Lung-shan settlements was their size and organization. The presence of large, fortified towns with walls made from rammed earth, a technique that required coordinated effort and a significant labor force, suggests an organized social hierarchy capable of mobilizing large groups of people. These fortifications, often several meters thick, would have provided protection against external threats, signaling that Lungshan society recognized the need for communal defense. Lungshan sites also reveal evidence of social stratification, marking a departure from more egalitarian Neolithic communities. Burials from this period show clear distinctions in grave goods, with certain individuals interred with valuable items like jade ornaments, pottery, and tools, while others were buried with few or no offerings. This unequal distribution of wealth and burial practices suggests the emergence of a social hierarchy, where elite individuals held more power, influence, and access to resources. The Lungshan culture is also notable for its advancements in technology, especially in pottery and metallurgy. The production of such pottery likely involved specialized craftsmen, pointing to early labor specialization within the society. Additionally, Lungshan sites show evidence of early metalworking, including copper artifacts that signal the beginning of a transition from stone to metal tools. Perhaps one of the most intriguing aspects of Lungshan culture is the possible evidence of early writing or symbolic communication. Pottery shards and oracle bones from Lungshan sites bear incised symbols that some scholars believe may represent early forms of writing or proto-writing. These symbols, though not fully deciphered, hint at an attempt to record information, possibly for ritual, administrative, or communicative purposes. This rudimentary form of record-keeping suggests an increasing complexity in social organization, where maintaining information became necessary for governance. The Lungshan culture's legacy in early Chinese civilization can be seen in its contributions to the developments that would later be expanded upon by the Shang Dynasty. The Liangzhu culture, which emerged in the lower Yangtze River region around 3300 BCE and flourished until about 2300 BCE, offers one of the earliest glimpses into the development of social hierarchy in ancient China. Known for its remarkable jade artifacts, sophisticated burial practices, and large settlements, the Liangzhu culture reveals a society that was not only well-organized but also deeply stratified. This period saw the rise of a ruling elite with access to luxury items and symbols of power, a defining feature that would shape the course of Chinese civilization in the centuries that followed. One of the most striking aspects of the Liangzhu culture is its use of jade, a material that held profound symbolic and social value. Artisans crafted jade into a variety of forms that were often intricately carved with geometric patterns and symbols, some of which may have represented cosmological beliefs. Jade was extremely challenging to work with, requiring sophisticated tools and an immense amount of labor, meaning that only skilled craftsmen could produce these pieces. Jade objects were typically found in elite burials, reserved for those of high status. This exclusive access to jade underscored the power and influence of the ruling class. The burial practices of the Liangzhu culture further emphasized the existence of social hierarchy. Elite tombs were elaborate and often contained large quantities of jade, as well as finely made ceramics and other valuable items. These tombs were usually positioned in prominent locations, separated from the more modest graves of common people, highlighting a clear division in social status even in death. In some cases, the tombs of the elite were constructed within massive earthen mounds, which required the coordinated effort of many laborers. Liangzhu settlements also point to an organized society with centralized control and large-scale communal projects. Sites like the Liangzhu ancient city show evidence of massive walls built from layers of mud, clay, and wood, stretching for miles around the settlement. These walls, likely built for flood control as well as protection, would have required a substantial and coordinated workforce, suggesting a leadership capable of organizing labor on a significant scale. The Shang Dynasty, which emerged around 1600 BCE, marks a critical stage in the political centralization and development of state authority in ancient China. The Shang were among the first in East Asia to establish a structured political hierarchy, with a ruling king who commanded loyalty from regional leaders and nobles, creating an organized and centralized government. This hierarchy allowed the Shang rulers to effectively control resources, labor, and military power, solidifying their dominance over a vast territory. The centralization of power under the Shang kings not only enabled the dynasty to undertake massive projects, but also to maintain social order through a combination of military strength, administrative control, and religious authority. The Shang dynasty's capital cities, such as Anyang, were centers of power where the king and his court oversaw governance, religious rites, and the administration of surrounding regions. Archaeological discoveries at these sites reveal elaborate palaces, administrative buildings, and temples, all of which served as symbols of centralized authority. Military power played a key role in maintaining Shang authority. The Shang developed a formidable army equipped with bronze weapons, chariots, and advanced military tactics, all of which were possible due to the state's control over bronze production and craftsmanship. Bronze was a rare and valuable resource, and the Shang rulers monopolized its production, ensuring that military technology remained under their control. With bronze weapons and chariots at their disposal, the Shang army was able to exert dominance over rival groups, expanding the dynasty's territory and enforcing loyalty among regional leaders. Religious authority was another cornerstone of Shang centralization. The Shang rulers claimed a special connection to their ancestors and deities, establishing themselves as the chief intermediaries between the human and spiritual realms. This connection was reinforced through elaborate ritual practices that centered around ancestor worship and divination. Oracle bones, animal bones, or turtle shells inscribed with questions were used by Shang diviners to seek guidance from the ancestors on matters of governance, warfare, agriculture, and other critical decisions. The king himself was often involved in these rituals, which not only reinforced his role as a spiritual leader but also legitimized his rule by linking it to divine will. This religious authority helped maintain social cohesion and justified the hierarchical structure of Shang society, where the king and the nobility held a privileged position as mediators with the spiritual world. Oracle bones represent one of the most fascinating aspects of the Shang dynasty. These bones, typically made from ox scapulae or turtle plastrons, were used in a ritual process of divination that allowed Shang kings and priests to seek guidance from their ancestors and deities on critical matters. Questions were inscribed on the bones, covering a wide range of topics, from military campaigns and agricultural planning to personal matters and weather forecasts. After the inscriptions, the bones were heated until they cracked, and diviners interpreted these cracks as answers from the spiritual world. This process illustrates the deep connection between the Shang rulers and their religious beliefs, as well as the importance of seeking divine guidance in governance. The inscriptions on oracle bones provide some of the earliest known examples of Chinese writing, making these artifacts invaluable to understanding the origins of Chinese script. This writing system, while still rudimentary compared to later developments, already exhibited many elements that would become characteristic of Chinese characters, including symbols that represented both ideas and sounds. These early inscriptions reveal a language structured enough to convey specific questions and answers, laying the groundwork for a written tradition that would become central to Chinese identity and administration. Beyond their religious purpose, oracle bones served as an early form of record-keeping, allowing the Shang to document significant events and decisions. By recording these details, Shang rulers and their officials could track patterns, review past decisions, and perhaps learn from previous outcomes, marking an early step towards systematic governance and historical documentation. In their fusion of divination, record-keeping, and symbolic authority, the oracle bones exemplify the integral role that writing and ritual played in the life and governance of early Chinese society. Religious and cultural practices in ancient China, particularly during the Shang Dynasty, were deeply intertwined with governance, social order, and the daily lives of the people. Central to Shang religion was ancestor worship, a belief system rooted in the idea that the spirits of deceased ancestors could influence the living world. The Shang believed that their ancestors held power in the afterlife, serving as intermediaries between the gods and humans, and that they could bring blessings or misfortune. To honor and appease these spirits, the Shang performed elaborate rituals and made offerings, often involving food, wine, and ceremonial artifacts. Rituals in Shang society often involved animal and, at times, human sacrifices, practices intended to secure favor from the gods and ancestors. These sacrifices were conducted as part of significant events, such as royal burials, military campaigns, or major agricultural cycles, and they reinforced the connection between the Shang elite and the spiritual realm. Human sacrifices, typically involving prisoners of war or individuals chosen from the lower social strata, served as offerings to the ancestors and the gods, symbolizing both devotion and a request for protection or success. Archaeological findings at Shang royal tombs, such as the tomb of Lady Fu Hao, reveal graves with dozens of human sacrifices buried alongside the elite, emphasizing the belief in an interconnected world of the living and the spirits, where sacrifices were seen as a way to ensure favor in both realms. Collectively, these religious and cultural practices served to reinforce social order and the authority of the Shang rulers. By positioning themselves as the primary intermediaries between the human and spiritual realms, the Shang elite created a society deeply rooted in the interplay of the material and the divine. Their rituals, sacrifices, and symbols of power were not simply displays of piety but served as a powerful tool for maintaining their rule, emphasizing that the Shang dynasty's authority was sanctioned by the ancestors and gods themselves. Through ancestor worship, divination, sacrifices, and the use of sacred materials, the Shang cultivated a complex cultural and religious structure that strengthened the foundations of ancient Chinese civilization and influenced its spiritual traditions for generations to come. We'd love to hear your thoughts on possible future topics. What areas of human evolution would you like to explore next? Leave your suggestions in the comments, and let's keep the conversation going. As always, our references and further reading are listed in the description below if you'd like to dive deeper into the subject. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. And do not forget, subscribe to the knowledge.